Well, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to TRF. Before we hop into this episode of 100 Ponds, I have a really cool announcement to make, and that is that I'm giving away an all-expenses-paid fishing trip with me. That's right, we're going to fly you from anywhere you live across the country to come spend a day on my boat with me, and have the possibility of winning an $80,000 fully rigged 2021 Skeeter bass boat. Now, you may be thinking, Tyler, how the heck do I win that? Well, the cool thing is, it is a fundraiser giveaway, and so we are raising money to do this on a raffle format to raise money for kids that have muscular dystrophy and for muscular dystrophy research through a nonprofit organization called Bass for Beckers that I've partnered with over the last few years. And so I will have the link in the video description below. If you guys can give any money to the organization, like I said, it's a nonprofit and we are raising money to send kids with MD to camp. During the month of September, if we raise $50,000, we're gonna give away a fishing trip with me. Last year we raised $49,000 and the trip giveaway winner and I had a blast catching springtime bass on Lake Texoma. And if you don't win the giveaway, you can also have the chance to win the $80,000 bass boat, which is just a nuts prize for a $25 raffle ticket. So please consider giving anything you can give. 1 raffle ticket, 10 raffle tickets. It'll be linked down in the video description below. Let's blow that $50,000 fundraiser goal out of the water. With that said, I say we hop into this episode of 100 Ponds. Over the last decade, I've caught fish in every corner of North America. From California to Mexico, Florida to New York, and all the way up to Canada, documenting it all on video for you guys. Yes, I got it! But as a video creator and instructor, I've generally left out one of the most important and the largest demographics in the world of fishing, and that is the bank beater, the pond prowler, the shore master. Yeah! In this series, I'm making it my goal to fish more bodies of water than I ever have before, but this time, from the bank. My name's Tyler, and this is 100 Ponds. Folks at home, I'm excited. And it is also windy, so I'm gonna duck around the car here, but welcome back to Tyler's Reel Fishing, and welcome back to the series called 100 Ponds. My name is Tyler, and on this channel, I make it my goal to help you guys become better bass anglers, more efficient bass anglers, and of course, have more fun out on the water. And part of that is a little challenge series that I'm doing this year and going forward called 100 Ponds, where I make it my goal to fish 100 ponds of every various shape, color, size, and style all around the country to hopefully show you guys how to fish the ponds that are in your local areas. And so if you guys are not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. I am so excited because today we're starting at pond number 14. I can't believe we are already 13 ponds into this series. That's crazy. And if you are new to the series, I have 3 other 100 ponds videos that I will leave linked in the video description below, as well as all the tackle that I use in this video. I love talking about tackle. I'm a big tackle junkie, and so I have all that linked below. Please use those links to shop for your tackle, as well as use those links to shop for AFCO using code TRF for 15% off. As always with the 100 Pond series, if y'all have any ponds you would like me to fish, your home pond anywhere around the country, I do a ton of traveling for this series, and so shoot me an email. It's TylersReelFishing@gmail.com with all the information on your pond, where it is, what kind of bass are in there, what kind of forage it is, and of course, where you are located in the country. But I say without further ado, we get on the water here in Minnesota for pond number 14. Pond number 14 in this 100 Ponds challenge. If you missed the last episode, first off, shame on you. Second off, go watch it. You missed pond number 13, which was actually the one right up here. I'm with a subscriber named Campbell. They have a really cool dog training property here where they breed dogs, they train dogs, and you know, we're all a bunch of dogs around here in the dog pound. I'm gonna do a little walkie walk here to see if I can see any forage. The bank here is relatively, on this pond here, relatively, you know, flat slanted, doesn't get too deep too quick. I kind of feel like this is your average pond that most of you guys have in the country. Kind of your average farm pond, a little bit of aquatic vegetation, but mostly sand. I do see some minnows, and I see some very, very small things down there. I think they're like baby bluegill. Yeah, those are like baby bluegill, which means there are bluegill in this pond. The conditions for today's 100 ponds, at least numbers 14 and 15, is going to be the same. We're going to have summertime conditions. Air temperature today is probably 80, 85 degrees, kind of hot for up here. The wind factor today is not going to be a whole lot. There is a wind, and we'll feel it on that side of the pond, but not necessarily on this side because we are protected by this hill right here. Water clarity, I'm going to give it 3 to 4 foot visibility, maybe even more. Just the bottom is kind of a dark, muddy sand bottom, so I can't really tell how clear the water is, but it's pretty dang clear. And so what we're gonna do today is we're gonna cover water with, of course, the Thunder Cricket, and we're gonna slow down at those areas where we caught some fish and throw the Stealth Fighter jig. I think with this pond being more open, I don't have to throw as much of a weedless presentation. I don't have to throw a wacky rig or a Texas rig. I kind of want to throw my strengths, what I'm good at, and that is the vibrating jig and the regular jig. That's the cool thing about these types of ponds. You can basically fish whatever you want. So we're gonna go over here, start next to Campbell, and get you guys on a fish. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Okay, folks, the reason why I say you gotta be kidding me is because I caught one, and I wasn't recording. Who could have guessed? Who could have guessed? I'm a professional YouTuber. I do this for a living, and I wasn't recording the first fish catch of pond number 14. I think I filmed that I'm throwing a Thunder Cricket because covering water is a good thing. Yeah, there's one. Okay, good. Didn't even need the first fish because we got ourselves another one. There we go. The fish are schooled up on this point right here, and they are hungry. Thank you, friend. Oh, I love the Thunder Cricket. Just slow roll that sucker. Woo. Sheesh, brothers and sisters. So, pond number 14, technically a success. After I work this entire point here, I'm going to pick up the jig and kind of make 5 or 6 casts and work it back to the bank right here off the point, and then I will go find the next area. So let's work the entire thing with the old Cricket of Thunder and then find ourselves productive areas to go back to with the jig. Because I know I preach that all the time. Sometimes I don't actually show that in action. That's what we're gonna do. So I found one productive area that we can go back to with the jig. Let's find ourselves another one. Gosh, there's one. Holy cow. Right at the bank. Right at the bank. Bring it in here. Yes, biggest fish of the day. That one hit it like a freight train. My gosh. Wow. That one hit it like an absolute freight train. Look at that beautiful bass right there on the Thunder Cricket. Okay, so we've fished 2 points so far. Well, actually, we fished 3 points, but gotten fish on 2 of them. And that guy was a little shallower than the last two were. Last two were probably 5, 6 foot of water. That guy was in literally 2 feet of water. But that is a good pattern that I don't have to waste my time fishing a jig down all this flat bank here. I can just fish that point, this point, and hopefully this little island or another point we find. That is so good though. Like I told you guys, my whole goal on this channel is to help you catch, whether it's your first bass or more bass, but also how to become efficient. And maybe fishing's therapeutic for you and you just want to, make a long, slow circle around the pond and fish everything evenly. That's not going to do it for me, to be honest. I want to catch the most bass in the least time possible because I'm all about catching bass. Is that a fish? Oh, that is a fish. Oh, let's go. Let's go. Kind of on the point, but kind of off to the side of it. Yes. Sorry, Bob. Come on. There we go. All right. Okie doke. That one ate it pretty dang good. The size Thunder Cricket I'm throwing, if y'all are curious, is the 1/2 ounce because I want to be able to get a little bit deeper if I need to, but still be able to, burn this thing because I want to be able to fish it in all depth zones. I would throw the 3/8 ounce if the pond was super, super shallow. Let's say I had a ton of aquatic vegetation, I'd throw the 3/8. And if the pond was deeper, I'd throw the 5/8 or 3/4. But 1/2 ounce is a really good all-around pond size. And again, making repetitive casts to the same area where you caught one can lead to more fish. Doesn't always, can though, so it's always worth a try. But what it does do is tell you that there's probably more fish there. By catching one, oh yeah. Oh, is that guy ate on the fall? He ate on the fall. Let's go, let's go. Little guy. But once again, I made a cast to that island. So right now it's Point Island is where we're gonna focus our efforts with the jig as we come back around. This is awesome. This is stinking sick. Oh gosh, there was one. There he is. Oh yeah. Oh, back-to-back casts. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Boom. Boom. Bring it up in here, baby. Yes. All right. Got him. Thank you, friend. Let's go for 3 casts in a row. Why don't we? I've got a feeling there's more fish there. Slow roll. Speed it up. Give it a few jerks. And there's one. Yep, I knew it. I knew it. There we go. That's how you trigger a score right there, folks. Give them a constant retrieve and then show them something a little bit different. 3 casts in a row. Oh, hey, as I was restarting the clip, I got another one. So even though we're catching them like a madman on this island, and you think, how many more can there be? I guarantee you, there are more fish on this here island than we're catching. Especially when they eat it outside the mouth like that. This dude just swatted at it, was most likely fighting with a buddy of his for, in competition over my lure. So, most likely gonna be more fish here. And I'm definitely coming back here with the jig. This is an area I wanna work really slow because I know there's more fish here than the 4 that I've caught. Just from experience, I know there are. So the time to slow down has arrived and the Outcast Tackle Stealth Fighter jig has come out of its cave. I'm gonna push the weed guard up a little bit, spread it out, but I mean, we don't have too much weeds to deal with today, just a little bit. But we're back at the first point where I caught 1 fish off camera and then 1 fish to start the video. We're gonna take our time and work this point here, but most of my bites came within the last half of the cast. So, I mean, I can cast all the way to that bank over there. There's no need for me to, though, because all my bites came in this area. So again, part of being efficient is knowing exactly how far you have to cast and not making a big, long bomb of a cast if your bites aren't even coming at the end of that cast. Oh, I had one. I had one on the yig. Did he steal? Oh, the audacity. He stole both of my claws. There's one. Hey, yo. All right. I knew there were fish over here. Spot number 2, panned out. Ouch. Ow, ow. Ah, these fish, man, they are aggressive. But let me tell you, breaking out my favorite lure in a pond is something I don't get to do very often. Usually, ponds are too snotty and mossy to throw a jig. But man, when you can, it's my favorite pond lure. Oh, come on. Come on, catch up with him. Catch up with him. There we go. Gosh, that guy has been swimming at me the entire time. Wow. That right there, folks, is why you need a good, fast bait caster, because sometimes those fish will bite and they will swim, 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 swim. And I would not have caught that fish if I had been throwing a slower gear ratio. All right. Thank you, friend. Well, folks, it seems that 2 times around this pond today is all that it took for all these fish to become smart. Give them a day, though, and they'll be dumb again. But as for today, I think pond number 14 is about over. Hopefully you all learned something. Hopefully, again, like I mentioned, these ponds are applicable to some of you guys out there, and every pond I fish at least teaches somebody something. And if it doesn't, hopefully it entertains you. So, with pond number 14 done, I say we head to pond number 15. So pond number 15 we are walking up right now, and this one, as you can see from the location, we are back in Texas. The good majority of 100 Ponds episodes will take place in Texas because, of course, that's where I live, and I've got a lot of ponds around where I live to figure out and try to see if I can catch fish in. This one here is a brand new one to me. I do see someone else fishing on the complete other side, so that's probably a good thing. It means there's probably fish here. As I walk up, let's go into some conditions here. The last pond in this video was in Minnesota. So the weather conditions, water conditions, everything were way different than this is gonna be. Air temp right now, probably 80. We're looking at no wind, which is probably good for a pond of this size right here. Looks like we have a decent amount of, I don't know, snot grass on the top of the water. That's probably good for a frog. It doesn't look all that deep, but I guess I'll find out when I throw a soft plastic out there. but it is summer in Texas. I'm filming this, I believe it's September 1st, and it's stinking hot, so that's why getting out here at the earliest part of the morning is critical, so you can have the most, you know, longevity with your fishing day. Because if I get out here at, you know, 9 a.m., there's probably none of the pond that's left in the shade, and the bite's probably going to be a little bit shut off. So we're starting off with the frog, as always. Most ponds have some kind of aquatic vegetation on the bank that allows you to throw a frog. I'm just hoping it's deep enough. I can't quite see from this angle if frog is going to be effective. As I've been fishing this bank over here, I've seen the one guy that was here leave and another guy come. So I'm feeling very confident about this pond. So as I walk around the pond, I'm starting to see, and the sun's starting to come up, I can see how clear this water is, and it's pretty dang clear. So I'm probably gonna switch once I finish with the frog to the caffeine shad and maybe a swim bait. Oh gosh, there was one right there. Right there. Wow. Right at the bank. I saw that fish cruising and I thought, well, I'll cast on top of this mat. Maybe the fish has gone under the mat. And he did. But he didn't have the frog in his mouth. Dang it. Well, as much as I would like to catch one on the frog, I see that guy over there throwing a frog, and I'm pretty sure the guy when I got here was throwing a frog. So these fish have probably seen enough froggies today. So we're gonna go to soft plastic jerkbait and then swim bait, and I'll probably alternate those as I walk around the bank. One lure for catching bass in ponds all around the country. It is not, in fact, a vibrating jig. It is a soft plastic jerkbait. If you ain't biting my caffeine shad, then where you at? Y'all, I'm not gonna lie, I'm surprised I have not caught one yet. This is weird. I bet you this pond gets a lot of pressure, which means it's got fish, but what I'm doing should yield results. So we're gonna keep plugging. There's one. Hey, let's go. Let's go. Success, folks. Cast this thing right next to some of that snot grass, and this little girl, come on, fish number one. Not any kind of size, but you know what? It's a fish. It proves that I know what I'm doing. I really think that the swim bait's gonna catch me a big one. I just gotta commit to it, and I don't feel like committing to it quite yet. So soft plastic jerkbait it is for now. Caught me one. It could catch me more. This pond is definitely what I would call like an ideal pond. It's not too big, but it's also not like a tiny little, you know, round circle. It's got, seems like relatively deep water. I don't know, 10 feet or so out in the middle. And it's got flowing water, so it's got a fountain and a pump. Oh, there's one. Got him. It's got fish, which is great. Not too much vegetation. Like it's not choked out with this snot grass stuff. I wish it had a little bit of actual good grass, but it is summertime in Texas, and sometimes even the good grass gets real snotty and mossy over the summertime because of all the heat. Algae and bacteria can grow in heat, which is why you'll find so much cheese, that's what I call it, in Texas ponds in the summer. The setup that I'm throwing this on today is the Lew's Custom Pro Speed Spool in a 7:5 gear ratio, 610 medium heavy TP1 black with some, I believe it's 15-pound Seaguar Invisex fluorocarbon. I'm going to be using a lot of Invisex, as I always have, but also we have that new line called Basics coming out, which is a very, very like entry-level, good price line. I think it's like $10 for a spool of line, which is just crazy for 100% fluorocarbon for $10. That is bonkers. So I'm going to be using a lot of that probably going forward, so y'all can see what good quality Seaguar can make for $10. You know, I think when it comes to ponds like this, especially in the summertime, the fish are more lethargic. I've already seen 2 or 3 fish cruising shallow that I pitched my lure to, and they just kind of looked at it and swam away. So I think if this is springtime or fall, those fish would probably more than likely chase that lure down and eat it. I think this time of the year, though, they're just kind of sick of seeing lures, because of course people are fishing. It's summertime. School was out all summer. People had less stuff going on, and so they definitely saw more lures, and they just got hot. In Texas, it's really, really hot in the summer, so these fish are just a little more lethargic. So going slow, that's the key to weightless. Oftentimes my main reason for throwing weightless for the soft plastic is because I want it to fall slower, to give the fish more time to see it in the water column, because I love throwing a belly weighted or a nose weighted Texas rig, but sometimes that just doesn't give these fish enough time to adequately look at it and decide if they want to eat it. And with ponds like this, you have the snot grass on the bottom, so we don't want to be dredging our lure and getting it all snotty. I think it's time, while we still have, well, I guess the only shaded part is underneath these trees here. While we still have some good morning left, I'm gonna throw the swim bait. I would like, mucho gusto, el grande pescado, por favor. I'd say about, I don't know, 1/4 of this pond is not accessible by shore anglers. It's all this cattails right here, so we got to do a little walkie walk. And we're almost back around to where we started. There's a big concrete kind of like overlook that I know my buddy has caught a fish or 2 off of before. So we're gonna finish off this video casting from that. It gives us basically 3 vantage points really. One to the left to cast along these reeds, one to the right to cast along the reeds, and one out to the middle, which I'm pretty sure is the deepest section of the pond. So we'll see y'all there. Big old star of Texas, baby. The eyes of Texas are upon you. Ooh, it definitely looks nice. Y'all can see right here, you can really see how deep the water is. I take it back, it's not 10 feet. Unless it gets deeper in the middle, it's probably 6 or 7, which isn't bad. Oh, it's hot. I'm almost done. These fish are not biting. They are lethargic. I see them swimming around all up shallow, and I'm sure they're swimming around that deep, and they are not wanting to bite. I think they're just too mentally slow right now. I don't blame them. I feel the same way. Well, as I bring this last cast in, got to think about what would I do differently today, looking back on these 2 ponds. Well, the first pond was in Minnesota, and I actually filmed that like a month ago, so there's not really much I would have done differently. Maybe throw a soft plastic instead of a jig back in those areas, but a jig still caught a few fish in those areas that I had fished the first time, so don't feel too bad about that. And then this pond, I guess maybe getting here earlier so I could have fished a frog in more prime time, top water time of the day, but there's really nothing I have regrets about. These fish are just slow, and that's kind of the nature of the beast right now. Unless you're fishing private ponds, if you're fishing public stuff like this, you're gonna have other anglers, even on a Wednesday morning as I'm filming this. You're gonna have other anglers, and you're gonna have fish that have seen tons and tons of lures all summer. So if y'all enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button. My name is Tyler, and I love teaching you guys how to catch more fish and become better anglers. And this is a fun series. I get to just travel around, film at cool ponds, and ideally I catch some big bass out of them. I've not really caught many big ones yet in this challenge, but they're coming in Texas. The next few 100 ponds here in Texas will be filled with good times and hopefully some big bass. So we'll see y'all next time.